Well, hello! We're back again for our next installment of Cooking with Donna. You might remember that for the Heritage Potluck in November, I made my Grandma Sadie's noodle Kugel. It's a sweet Kugel, not a savory Kugel, and there's different kinds of Kugel. She liked to make a sweet Kugel, and it was everybody's favorite. My family loves it too, although some people prefer it with raisins and some people prefer it without. And since today I'll be making it for my son Tommy, he is a fan of the raisin, so we will be including raisins in the recipe today. So the first thing we're going to do is we need to find an 8x8 pan, 8 inches by 8 inches, that we're going to make our Kugel in. So I have this glass pan and I'm going to measure, and we measure the interior of a pan when we're measuring the dimensions of a pan. And yes, it's 8 inches by exactly 8 inches. So it's the perfect size. And what we're going to want to do is grease that pan. I like to use canola cooking spray. It sprays really nicely and covers the whole pan. So we're going to spray that so nothing sticks because we don't want our noodle Kugel sticking. Okay. And then we have to preheat our oven. I'm going to preheat my oven to 300 degrees convection, which would be 325 in a normal oven, because when you convection bake, you need to reduce the temperature by 25. So I'm going to go turn on my oven. So the next thing we're going to have to do is boil our noodles. I've already got a pot of water boiling over there. And what our recipe requires is a half a package of egg noodles. I like to get the extra wide egg noodles. And you might note is that we have a hechsher, the OU, on the noodles. That indicates that it's a kosher product. And all of our products are kosher today. So I'm going to put a half a package of noodles into the boiling water. And I'm going to stir it up a little bit, make sure they all get into the water nicely. And we're going to leave them to boil for about 5 minutes, and then we'll check them. So I'm going to set my timer for 5 minutes. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to slide the pan out of the way because we don't need it right now. And we're going to go on to the next step, which is adding our other ingredients. So the first thing we're going to do is put our eggs, 4 eggs, into our big bowl. And so when you crack an egg, you're going to hit it on the side of the bowl, make a little crack, and put your fingers in the crack, and then just separate the 2 parts and dump your egg in. There we go, we cracked, put our fingers in, take the 2 parts. Now, sometimes you might get a little shell into your bowl. It happens to all of us. And the best way to do that, to get rid of it, is you take another piece of shell, you go in and try to fish it out, and it tends to stick to the other piece of the shell. So we didn't have that happen to us today. But now, since I've used raw egg and there's raw egg on my hand, I'm going to go quickly wash my hands over here at the sink. Okay. All righty. So now we're going to mix our eggs, our 4 eggs, in the bowl. And you just want to beat them up a little bit. And then we're going to add our sugar. So we need, let's see, 3/4 of a cup of sugar. Uh-oh, I only have a 1/4 measurer. So I have 1/4 of a cup here, but I need 3/4 of a cup. So how many of these am I going to need? Yep, you got it. 3 of them, 3/4. So we're going to put the sugar in, and then we are going to level it out, make sure it's nice and even, because we want to be precise. 2. 3. Fantastic. And we're going to mix that up. So we're going to mix that up. And then we're going to want to add our butter. Now we need a half a stick or 4 tablespoons of melted butter. So that's half of a stick. So I'm going to open my stick of butter and I'm going to cut it into 2 equal parts, because that's what a half is, 2 equal parts. I'm going to cut it right in half. I'm going to take half of my butter, put it in this Pyrex measurer, and I'm going to put it in the microwave to melt. And while that's melting, we'll go add the remaining ingredients. So next we need 1 cup of cottage cheese. So I have my 1 cup measurer here. And I am going to put 1 cup of cottage cheese in my 1 cup measurer. And we're going to push it down because we want to fill that cup up. There we go. And then we're going to dump it in our pot. We're going to make sure we get everything out of there. And then we're going to need 1 cup of sour cream. Oh, I heard my microwave. I'm going to check my butter. Oh, perfect. It's nice and melted, as you can see. And I'm just going to pour that right in. And we can use our big spatula and make sure we get all that yummy butter into the kugel. This is not a low-fat treat, but you don't eat too much of it, and it's okay once in a while. So now we need 1 cup of sour cream. So we are going to fill up our 1 cup measurer. Oh, and I hear my timer, which means that my noodles might be done. So we're going to go check those real quickly. Whoops. Okay, and we're going to take a noodle out, and we're going to give it a taste test. Yep, perfect. We're going to turn our stove off, and we're going to go drain our noodles in the sink in a strainer. We want to get the water all out of there. Perfect. Okay, now we're going to take our sour cream, dump it into our big bowl. And now we're just going to mix all our ingredients up together. And there we have it. Looks nice and delicious and creamy. Now would be the time to put in the raisins. So we're going to put in a half a cup of raisins. Oh, but again, I only have my 1/4 cup measurer. So 1/2. How many quarters equal a half? Well, there's 4 quarters in a whole, 4/4 in a whole, and I need a half. Half of 4 is 2, so I need 2/4 to put in. So I'm going to put 2/4 of a cup of raisins. Let's see. There's 1/4. 2/4. 2/4. 1/2. And I'm going to stir that all about till it's well mixed. And now we're going to take our noodles and we're going to dump them into the bowl. You want to get them all. Leave no man behind. Okay. So now we mix the Kugel all up together with the butter, the sugar, the sour cream, the cottage cheese, and the raisins. And here's what it looks like before we put it in the pan. And now we're just gonna pour our Kugel into our pan that we've greased and prepared. And we want to get all that yummy deliciousness in. And then we smooth out the top. And then for our very last ingredient, we need to sprinkle the whole thing with a nice dose of cinnamon. And you don't want to be chintzy here. You want to make sure you get lots of cinnamon on the top. You want to get it all around. Okay, and our Kugel is now ready to go into our oven and bake for about, I'd say, 45 minutes to an hour. We have to check it. So we're going to put it in the oven. And I'm going to set my timer for 45 minutes so I can check it. And then we'll see if it's done. Okay, we're counting down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's check. Aha. So I'm looking to see it's nice and crispy. Everything looks nice and solid. We don't want anything jiggling or wiggling. Nothing's jiggling or wiggling. Looks just perfect. And there we have it. Grandma Sadie's sweet noodle Kugel with raisins. Vite avon.